Okay, we're back here in Car Mechanics Simulator 2018. One of the easiest jobs in the later game is exhaust work. And that's because you can get it done really quickly. Brake work and other stuff like that, suspension work, takes a while, and it can be a real pain in the butt. It's just the amount of components you have to take off and put back on. Um, Exhaust work, though, is probably the easiest job in the whole bit. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to open up the hood and just check if it's the exhaust manifold that's causing the problem. Because if it's the exhaust manifold, you're going to want to take that off. And now we can see, yep, partly there is the exhaust manifold here, and we're going to need to take this off and get rid of it. Now, this makes it a little bit more difficult. You have to take off a few more bolts, but in general, it's still pretty obvious how to fix it. Now, we're going to go out and grab our exhaust manifold. I probably have one of those sitting around somewhere. Let me see. Nope. Exhaust man I4. Let's see. I4HOSC. Is that what I was looking for? I forget all the time. That's why I just go back and forth. So we'll hook that up, and then we can get under the car. One thing to note is that if you do a car with a turbo, you do need to remove the turbo and leave it off to get the bottom section off. But we shouldn't have that problem here. We should be able to just pull this lower exhaust section off and be done. Now, we can also look around, and it's pretty easy to see that even though this thing is a hunk of junk, the main problem is this exhaust section here. Now, oh, well, and of course, I was wrong. I had to leave that manifold off to get it off, making this a much more difficult job than I thought, although still not that difficult. This particular setup necessitates, I guess, whether you have the turbo or not, that you take off the exhaust manifold before popping that front exhaust pipe off. So, bang, it comes right off now, of course. Now we'll go for front exhaust HOSC, I4HOSC, HOSC. Can't talk today. Right. SOHC being single overhead cam. I think it's actually easier to say single overhead cam. So even though this is a bad example, there are far easier exhaust jobs usually where you're basically just replacing a couple of pipes. It's still pretty obvious what you have to fix, and there's minimal amounts of work to do. And each time you do one of these jobs, you're gaining about 100 experience. So it's worthwhile to pick up these when you see them. And you'll notice that, let's see, 27708. Right. And we're about 812 now. So that's about 100 and change experience. And it took us not very long at all. If it was a different car, I might have gotten just the lower pipes. If it was a different car, I might have been able to hook the manifold back up and take the front exhaust pipe off. But that one was a little different. But overall, a worthwhile thing to do.